Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the iHeartRadio network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And also Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe according to Big C. And them good old boys down south, I all want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America. Thank you so much for following Big C Sports, and of course across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France. Thank you for following Big C Sports, and also especially in Canada. There's no one I love more than Canada than the land of the free and the home of the brave. Big C, how's it going for you good old boys down south, Big C?
Well, we're talking about, we love it down here, but I got a constant question as well. We're talking about having from Canada.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right out there looking for it. If we got to leave the U.S., we couldn't leave no Mexico. Place right now without a border wall.
Hey, I figured we just follow the path of the Underground Railroad, Big C, and you know, I feel remiss if I didn't say today is a Black History Month, and it is a beautiful February 27th, 2017, and I even hear some of my good old boys up here in the media, they're thanking some of their listeners from down south in Australia, Big C. You know, some of these NBA broadcast teams, I wonder where they got the idea to thank people from all around the world, the way Big C Sports has been thanking people from all over the world, Big C. So any thoughts on that, Big C, how they thanking people from all over the world as opposed to just 50 miles from their station, Big C?
I really appreciate what everybody does for us with Big C Sports. Even though they don't give us a credit on it, and we give it back.
Oh, yeah.
Love for all those people who don't want to pay us homage, but that's the ultimate respect, to try to keep them silent.
Yeah.
And we've seen that for many years in the media. But, when we look around and, when we think about how Big C's Escalade
Yeah.
in the vehicle.
Yeah.
Firestone followed it up. Even, Cadillac followed it up with their own version. We've seen it all over the place. And today, Charles,
Yeah.
I saw Oliver with a commercial of a guy sitting out front of a covered with lead, Charles.
Right.
I think Big C and Charlton Sports everywhere.
Yeah.
You have started this whirlwind of national publicity for mud. We're going to have to become the national mud.
Hey, I gotta say this now because everybody's okay now. I want to say the tallest dam in the United States of America is located on the west coast in Canada. It's called Lake Oroville. It even perched its it overflowed its banks, Big C, and they had all this kind of water running downstream, and it created a lot of mud. So even mud was coming out of the tallest dam in the United States, Big C. And I said, wait a minute, don't tell me Big C Sports was up there also, Big C. Were you up in Lake Oroville, Big C, in California anytime recently, Big C? Oh, man.
Yeah, even Mother Nature's listening, Charles, when you think about it, if she's reaching the tallest dam in the world, and water on the top, so she knows what's going to happen downstream, Charles, with all this mud and silt.
Yeah.
The water's going to get dirty. Even Mother Nature is one of our top fans.
Yeah, that's funny, Big C. I also want to say this segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. In fact, Big C, I noticed a lot of Escalades. They had the red carpet out in Hollywood last night, handing out the 89th Academy Awards, the Oscars, and a lot of them good old boys. You know, what kind of car did they pull up in the good old boys when they had the chauffeur, or they put up with their driving, Big C? Did you notice what kind of car they were driving in L.A. last night, Big C?
Well, Charlton, that speaks of excellence and elegance, and also Charlton and Big C Sports.
Yes.
The only problem was they went out and washed them.
Yeah.
Sex appeal. They're clean.
Yeah.
Sex appeal that I ride around here, because everybody knows who I am. They think this was like part of the crowd, Charlton.
Yeah. I tell you, and one of the great things, I love about Big C Sports, we've been doing it forever. Now sometimes I turn on other sports stations around the country, and I love learning from people too, Big C, but I'm seeing a lot of people paying homage to the Oscars and all the things that happened with the Oscars, and whether it was La La Land that was up for a movie or or any of the other ones that ended up winning, Big C. Just your thoughts. If you had the chance to see, Jimmy Kimmel happens to be one of the funniest guys in the world, Big C. And the great Jimmy Kimmel, who hosted the Oscars, he gave a lot of his credit for being a comedian to none other than the great David Letterman, who's a race car fanatic, Big C. Your thoughts on the Oscars, Big C, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, Jonathan, going into the Oscars, I want to take this moment of solace. Yesterday, Hollywood lost a great actor, Bill Paxton.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Paxton's known for many roles, Apollo 13 with Tom Hanks. He was Helen Hunt in the movie Hurricane.
Yeah.
He played with Arnold Schwarzenegger in True Lies.
Yeah.
He played in so many roles. He played in a comic role years ago with Kelly LeBlanc in, Weird Science.
Yeah.
He played in an HBO series called Big Love, where he dealt in multiple wives. But Bill Paxton was one of the great actors and character actors of Hollywood. He lost his life to some complications of surgery.
Yeah.
A sad, solemn moment going into the Oscars. And so I just wanted to say that about the late Bill Paxton, who, I miss him in so many roles, Sean. I look back and he brought me so much laughter.
Yeah.
Over the years in the roles that he played, because even though he was a character actor, John, but he was also a dominant actor. And back to the Oscars, when you talk about David Letterman, John, for years, after Johnny Carson, he was the king of late night.
Yeah.
This man, was the king of one-liners, Sean. He was an icon on that late night scene. Even though it's been so saturated in the past couple of years, and a lot of great young comedians, but they all learned from Johnny Carson and Dave Letterman.
Yeah.
And Dave has gone on into the NASCAR ranks, Sean. So we also talked about how Hollywood and sports interact in so many ways. And, he's an IndyCar fanatic, John. He's been a sponsor on the IndyCar circuit for really the last decade. And, he's been out there, he's been in the forefront, and he's one of those guys that has helped propel the sports, and keep it going. And this is what a lot of people don't realize, the number of people, athletes and actors who have gotten into Hollywood. And let me give you another player, Charles.
Yeah.
Brad Daugherty.
Yo, yeah.
Brad Daugherty played in North Carolina. He was the number one draft pick in the NBA of the Cleveland Cavaliers about 20 years ago. But he's been in NASCAR for over the past decade. He's an announcer on ESPN. Very knowledgeable out of North Carolina about NASCAR history, Charles.
Yeah.
Owner. Even Michael Jordan has crossed over to ownership into the racing industry, Charles. But so many athletes, Shaquille O'Neal, have crossed over to that range that have made these sports viable, crossover sports, Charles. And that's what perpetuates and keeps sports alive, is that you get cross interest. So it's just not one thing. People were looking at NASCAR, and we just had the Daytona 500 over the weekend. What a dramatic finish, Charles. I mean, you look at NASCAR racing, there's always the last 5 laps that you want to see.
Yeah.
What a finish, a conclusion to the race. But, it's just drama. It's like Hollywood. It's all drama and intense and keeps you riveted, Charles.
Well, Big C, I think that is so powerful. And again, our thoughts and our hearts go out to all of Hollywood and the great actor Bill Paxton. In that movie with Twister, he was also on Apollo 13 and also Aliens. He's also appeared with the great former governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Big C. So and Tom Hanks and all them good old boys that are part, Kevin Bacon, part of Hollywood acting. But what I really want to bring attention to is what happened last night with the 89th Oscars. And you started at Big C, and sometimes I just want to give credit where credit's due. We live in a segregated society, and we know that. But there's hope when we address that, Big C. There's hope when we talk about it. And Hollywood, and even the great actor and comedian Jimmy Kimmel made a joke about it. He said, Hollywood was so white and so segregated and really didn't have a line to stand behind until the Donald Trump administration came in, and everybody's white, Big C, except for like one person. But now Hollywood has realized that diversity, it works in Hollywood, diversity works in athletics, diversity works on Wall Street, and diversity works when you spend your money. It doesn't care where it comes from. So I want to pay homage to Hollywood, because when you look at the movie that won, it was one of the greatest movies that had primarily a diverse cast in Moonlight. And I just want to say that so many new people have been given an opportunity in Hollywood, which has to set the tone for inclusion all over the world, especially Big C. If we're telling people to live like us, don't you think Hollywood can play a better role in the blending of sports and in the Hollywood and even politics? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charles, when you look at how the movies came out this year, you talk about movies like Best Picture, Charles.
Yes.
There was another movie with Denzel Washington called Fence.
Oh, should have won. He should have won.
That was sports related. Viola Davis won Best Supporting Actor. I don't know how she could not win Best Actress. Charles.
Yeah.
You know, it's still segregated to that degree that, you know, African Americans, there were two dominant movies that African American women could have been nominated and should have probably won Best Actors. When you look at numbers,
yeah,
and you also look at, you know, fences, you know, the roles that were given by those women were very dramatic and commanding, and they were also leading roles in the movies, Charlton. And that's what we have to get to the point of, that the leading roles, not supporting actors, not supporting actors, but leading roles, with minorities, Charlton, are carrying the movie.
Yeah.
And so how do you make them supporting actresses or actors? I mean, Kevin Costner took a back seat to those brilliant women in numbers, Charlton.
Yeah.
Well, Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures, yeah.
And so, you know, you look at that, and even though there is diversity and there's advancement, Charlton, there's also a shunningness of excellence that we look at, because it seems like you don't want to give these women or men more praise than what you give them. You say they should be happy and content with what they're getting. But we see lesser roles, lesser movies win greater awards than what these people give us. I mean, you can be a box office flop and get Best Actor and no one see you. You know, you did $14 million at the box office, which one of these movies does on a weekend, and they get no credit. So there's still some drawbacks, Jonathan, as far as equality when it comes in. We're grateful for the advancement that has occurred. It's like even in athletics, Jonathan. You know, you look at the number, when people can count the number of African-American head coaches in a league on their hand.
Yeah.
They say, well, some of them got a job. Yeah, but not enough of them. You know, that's the thing. If you turn those numbers around and you made it inverted where the African-Americans were the dominant coaches, where they were the dominant actors, how would the world be, Jonathan? What would the parallel in the world be? Because there's quality abound when we think about that. If you look at the percentage of African-American coaches, Jonathan, in sports who win versus the percentage of non-African-American coaches in sports who win, people say, well, you know, you pick it stuff too thin right at that point. No, you're not. You're being realistic. Because you look at the number of non-minority coaches in anything, basketball, baseball, football. Okay? Who's the predominant loser? But who's the predominant ones who keep their jobs sharp? It's a recycling process. You're not innovating new, fresh ideas and blood chopping into these things, just like in Hollywood. When we look at the limited number of African Americans who get the opportunity, but then you look at the number of African Americans who win, so the percentage is much higher because of the quality of work that they have to put in and the self-esteem that they have. It's the same in athletics, Jonathan. People wonder why African American athletes ascend to such heights, because they're competitive and you want to show them their greatness and ability at all times. They don't live on their laurels saying, well, I know I got a guaranteed position because of what I am. So they have to go out and prove themselves night after night. You think about, even in sports, when LeBron James takes a night off, he's played more minutes in basketball than anybody since he was in high school, okay? But people blast him for that. He shouldn't take a night off. But other players, Charlton, don't even play in games, and no one blasts them. Greg Popovich started this years ago. Greg Popovich is a white coach, Charlton. He knew the need of these players to take a rest, that you could not ride them like slaves or a broke down pony because they would wear out. Okay? So he took the consciousness to give these players rest. And yes, the rest of the NBA, some of the coaches have seen the need for this. That's a long, long season. So you got to think about the overall outlook. Would a fan rather have a star player in the playoffs or in game 56 of the regular season, Charles?
Well, Big C, I want to say that's a very good point. This segment is sponsored by the California Lottery. What can a buck do for you? Go ahead and spend some money on the lottery. Half of that money goes to help the kids. And Big C, you know, I know we've won it eventually. It's just a matter of time before it catches up with us, Big C. Again, has anyone heard from Larry Bird since somebody hit that $400 million in Indiana, Big C? That's why they call him Larry the Legend, and that legend continues to grow. Larry Bird, come out and give some of that money out to the kids. But I want to just touch a little bit again on something you started, Big C. In Big C Sports, and anyone can check it, we're the only show in the universe that pushes sports and diversity and Hollywood and even politics on the #1 sports show in the universe. We're the only ones doing it. And Big C, now everybody's doing it. And just like when we started about a year ago, and there were people saying, just read me the scores. I go to high school sometime and even elementary school just to kind of mentor kids on how to get started in media. And they can all read the sports page. They can all read the weather report. They can read the front page, but they don't have someone who's a historian like yourself that can blend Hollywood and politics. I want to bring this up to you because it's very important, especially for African-American women and Caucasian women too. When I look at some of the actresses that were just considered not only very talented, but I look at people like Taraji P. Henson, who's also one of the greatest actresses out there, TV and movies, and she's in Hidden Figures. Amazing. You look at Jessica Biel, who's been great in acting over the years, and Scarlett Johansson, who's also been very gifted in the world of acting. Isabella Huppert has been great. Janelle Monáe, if she's not the most beautiful woman in the world, she's probably number 2. She was also in Hidden Figures, Big C. And then the great Octavia Spencer. Can't say enough about her. Kristen Dunst and Felicity Jones and Michelle Williams. Just a lot of people who, as women, they've cracked that barrier that a lot of women have had to push hard. And to see the color line coming across that barrier, I think Hollywood is also influenced by Big C. I can't say they did it before you did it, Big C, talking about diversity and inclusion. I want to just say I congratulate you in being bold and just saying what's right. And now, even people who know they benefit from discrimination, they're saying, you know what? Every ethnic group on the planet has money. The more people we appeal to, the more money we make. Does that make any sense?
Charles, it makes a lot of sense because it brings you to inclusion. You're involved more in a lot of things. Hollywood has been a trailblazer when you think about it, long before a lot of sports, Charles. When we think about some of the inclusion of Hollywood, of some of the African Americans go years back into the 40s and 50s. Woody Strode, who was a former football player at UCLA, a teammate of Jackie Robinson, crossed over to Hollywood in the spaghetti westerns with John Wayne. And, you know, people of that caliber, Charles, when you think about all of the people, Jim Brown and others who came along in the early years, Paul Robeson, of Hollywood. Hollywood was an inclusion area for African Americans, Charles.
Yeah.
And so they didn't turn their back on African Americans, and those roles have gradually increased into what we saw in the Oscars the other night, Charles. But I want to take the Oscars just a little bit further.
Yeah.
When we saw the end of the Oscars, Charles, and they made a mistake.
Yeah.
Okay. They corrected the mistake. Now that mistake was made a year ago in the Miss Universe pageant with Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
When it was given the wrong card, okay?
Yeah.
It was corrected and given to the rightful winner.
Yeah.
And we saw that last night with the Oscars when there was a mistake made. That's integrity, Charlton, to be able to correct your mistake.
Yeah.
Only if that could cross over into world of sports, Charlton. And there's been many games that people will look at and say, why could not sports get that right?
Yeah.
Sports has listen replay. We can go back a few years ago, Charlton, Seattle Green Bay on a Monday night game, I believe it was.
Yeah.
When Green Bay won the game on an interception, but yet Seattle was given the touchdown in the end zone.
Yeah.
You know, a situation that was totally wrong. We had a situation last season, Charlton, Detroit Tigers pitcher.
Yeah.
Okay? They threw a perfect game, and the umpire blew the call, the third out in the ninth inning. And baseball has instant replay. How much would it have been for baseball to just roll it back and hey, this was an out?
We made a mistake. Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of offering an apology, baseball has
Yeah.
Fifth down. And the quarterback threw an interception to spoil Oklahoma State season, Charles. And this has happened so many times in the world of sports. You think about how many times a basketball player has gotten off a shot and the light was red or his foot was on the line and it was not overturned. You think about how officials in the NCAA, Charles, let those plays like that go.
Oh, yeah.
But you think about it. You can go back and you can strip a player of a Heisman Trophy 4 or 5 years after the fact, Charles. Because all those teammates, all those victories where the university has to give these victories back, even University of Notre Dame that had to get back all those victories.
Yeah.
You know, with your buddy Brian.
Yeah.
Why only can the Oscars get it right? You know, and the Miss Universe pageant. When there's a mistake made, Charlton, how do you go back and punish people for not making that mistake, Charlton, when they've done it the right way?
Yeah.
This is what the world of sports needs to take a look at and give some respect to the film industry, to the television industry, because sports is a part of it. And get it right. You owe it to the fans. You owe it to the players to get it right. Because when you go back and you strip the university of 80 victories for something that one person did, and I'm going to bring up Jerry Sandusky, as evil as he was.
Yeah.
To go back and take all of those victories away from those players at Penn State that had to go out and practice and sweat and suffer. Many of those big players took debilitating leg injuries, Charlton, shoulder injuries.
Oh, yeah.
That were never able to recuperate from, okay?
Yeah.
But they have to live with the legacy of having those victories that they fought hard for taken away from them because of one sick individual who never got on the field, Charlton.
Yeah.
That's the thing you look at. And even as heinous as this scenario has been at the University of Baylor, Charlton,
Yeah.
all the players are not involved in that. Criminalize the players that were, but don't criminalize the players that weren't. This is where society gets it wrong, Charlton, is that society wants to demonize everybody affiliated with a program. You got the coach,
Yeah.
you got the players that were involved. You got 90 players that were not involved, Charlton. But all of a sudden, they got to live with that veil that you were one of them.
Yeah.
Even though they never did anything wrong, you were one of them.
Well, big.
It's like going to school, Charlton, with somebody who commits a crime.
Yeah.
You commit that crime because you went to school with them?
No.
You, Charlton.
Well, I'll tell you what, Big C, that's very important. I want to say this segment is sponsored by United Labor Guaranteed Life Insurance up to $100,000 with no medical questions. That means even President Trump could get insured, Big C, if he tries to end Obamacare. And also, I want to say we're endorsed by the American Heart Association and the American Cancer Society. We're also working with all of the unions in the United States under the AFL-CIO, and we're looking to hire over 1,000 licensed insurance brokers because we want to put people back to work. Tweet out to Big C Sports on the iHeart Radio Network every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time worldwide on the iHeart Radio Network. Big C, I want to bring up something that I think is very important too, and because a lot of times people just don't do this, I want to congratulate Casey Affleck, who won the Best Actor for Manchester by the Sea, even though I thought Denzel should have won it. That's just my own opinion. But he applauded and congratulated Denzel, saying, I learned acting from you. But even more important than that, because anyone can win an award if you get the right votes, Big C. But he had something to say to President Trump, and he mentioned it at the Oscars. He's mentioned that the administration is abhorrent. He mentioned that in his acceptance speech. When you look at Hollywood and how diverse Hollywood is, even though they're reticent to push diversity out there, I think they're starting to do it now. And it's a message to our president. If people in Hollywood can correct whether it's, La La Land, they got the Oscars and they gave it to Moonlight, and they've just done a great job. Both shows were great. Both movies were great. But I'm glad it's not just African Americans, men, that are chastising the president. We are exercising our freedom of speech. And if segregated Hollywood can see that the White House is not the same America that we've all grown accustomed to in this diverse environment, I'm glad that white men are not afraid to stand out and say what's right and wrong. I'm glad they're not just leaving up to guys like Jim Brown or someone like Harry Edwards or anyone that has a consciousness, Big C. And I appreciate that coming from our white brethren. Your thought on why more white men are reticent to say what's fair, Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charles, this country has fought too hard and diligent over its years to lay down and be what it's trying to become because of one individual.
Yeah.
You know, this country, it's like the Pledge of Allegiance when we were growing up.
Yeah.
It's been omitted from schools, Charles.
Yeah.
One nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That has been omitted because it is not what our current, political situation stands for. The chief is not about that in this country.
Yeah.
And you think about all the strides that America made politically, athletically, socially, and for us to come to this in the new millennium, when everything is being ripped apart, America's fabric is being torn apart at the seams, Charles. And we see it everywhere. It's not just in politics. We see it in sports, in the arena of life, where everybody was looked at as an equal in sports.
Yeah.
Now you're getting separation where people are starting to look at teammates funny because of their political views, saying, well, you can't look at that way as the president. Well, the president looks that way as me.
Yeah.
This has been the first time in my lifetime that we've never had a president talk about equality, Charles. Even when we had Jim Crow and segregation in America, those presidents talked about the vigilance of equality and striving for not separate but equal in America, Charles. And to have a president here in 2017 talking about separate and unequal should be the law of the land. And I understand the evidence based, some of them, Charles.
Yeah.
But we've come too far in the country. I mean, think about it. If we segregated sports teams in America, how would America be?
Yeah.
Would there be the National Black Football Association? Would it be the National Black Basketball Association? The National Black Baseball? The National Black Hockey? How would America feel? I mean, everything can't be a NASCAR race, okay?
Yeah.
And that's what intended, but everything can't be a NASCAR race.
Right.
How would America feel if they went to an NFL game and there were no African-American athletes out there?
Wow, Big C.
How would there be, Charles, if we went back to college football when there was segregation? And matter of fact, today in this press conference, we had the historical black colleges asking the question.
Yeah.
Okay, how are you going to fund the historical black colleges now? Are you going to take away grants and aids from them? Because of the separation that he has talked about. You can think about how the historical black colleges, Charles, have suffered because of desegregation.
Yeah.
The pilgrimage of athletes that are no longer there. You don't see the number one draft picks coming out of historical black colleges as you did years ago, Charles. If you look at the NFL Hall of Fame, we saw at the beginning of the Super Bowl this year, which made me so proud that the Super Bowl and the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Homage.
That was first class.
Historical black colleges, Charles. The
Yeah.
first time in its history that you made them the forefront of your pregame show. That was an honor for me. It made me proud to be a former African-American athlete, Charles.
Well, Big C, I know that made you proud, but let me just throw it back at you. You're the only sports program and commentator that was talking about that. It's never happened in the other 50 Super Bowls. Prior to Super Bowl 51, we have been talking about that all football season, why they don't pay homage, because they didn't do it for the Negro Leagues in baseball, for the Big C World Series, Chicago and Cleveland, and we talked about it enough in the NFL. It's not by accident or coincidental that they brought it up after following Big C Sports, Big C. So that's why I congratulate you being a trailblazer. I also want to say that Tom Hanks doing another award that happened earlier, I guess later last year, he also talked about some great things. And I just want to take this time because we got to be honest about something too. It doesn't matter what color you are. What matters is like Dr. King. It's about all of our character, black and white. We had a gentleman win the best actor, and he's Muslim, and he would be on that same list that Donald Trump says can't fly into the country, Big C. And so I want to just say it was white Hollywood that voted for him. That wasn't a pool of black people that voted for him. That was white Hollywood that has the money and the influence and the power. And so I congratulate all of our brethren, no matter what color, what religion, for just showing the younger generation, be fair, but be an inclusive society because everybody benefits. We're all inclusive. I want to say this segment also is sponsored by Bennemark Insurance. You can get it through Big C Sports. We can insure every pro athlete all over the country, as well as every collegiate athlete and every high school athlete and every mom and pop soccer league. So Big C, tweet out the Big C Sports for that. And Big C, I want to get your thoughts again, because it takes someone who's prescient enough to say things before they happen, because a lot of people are afraid to. But with this money pouring into Hollywood to employ black actors and actresses the same way, Emma Stone got a great award. Congratulations to her. But even her look of being kind of light skin and red hair, sometimes that look is even ostracized in Hollywood, Big C. So I just congratulate Hollywood from every hue that was given an opportunity to say, look, your work is excellent. How can we take that same push from Hollywood with politics and corporate America and start to infuse money into whether the inner city or these rural areas? We know we're still waiting for that $1 billion that Donald Trump said he's going to infuse into the inner cities. How can we get Hollywood and the private sector, Big C, to do that? Your thoughts?
Well, the private sector, Charles, to a degree, has always been a supporter of growth within the inner city. When you look at investment, it's about winning the political backing, Charles. When we think about sports teams, they've all put a little bit of what they've moved into these communities.
Yeah.
But what it has to come down to, Charlton, is that it's like a developer when you go into an area. You look at these NFL teams that want to transplant, okay?
Yeah.
If you were forced, when you left a city, okay, that you had to pay 2% of your revenue from the previous season, Charlton,
yeah,
and leave behind for the inner city that you abandoned, and you also got to take 10% of your current revenue and invest into that city that you're going to, Charlton.
Yeah.
It might change the outlook of some tourism leaving, and all of a sudden you got to take 20% of your revenue and donate to these cities. We're talking what a benefit it would be. You talk about the Raiders talking about leaving Oakland. If they got to leave 10% of their wealth and revenue behind,
yeah,
the Rams who just left St. Louis doing the same thing, Johnson.
Yeah.
This also is what we talk about investment in areas, whether it's NBA, hockey, basketball, football, all of these sports. If you're forced to invest within a community,
yeah,
then maybe there would be some different outlook, and maybe these communities would grow expeditiously because of this infusion of money. We've always talked about athletes putting money into communities.
Yeah.
Where do the owners get their money from, John? They get their money from these communities. So why not, you should be forced, if you're going to leave 10% of the wealth of your franchise back in that community. You're talking about going, getting better digs at a better price. When you have to leave 10% of your franchise wealth behind, now that city won't suffer so much, Dalton. Those youth won't suffer so much in those areas. They will happen to have an opportunity to achieve more financially, educationally, because you had to invest in a community that you left behind that kept you so wealthy over the years, John.
Well, Big C, you remind me so much of Dick Gregory and Harry Edwards when I hear you speak, and I do appreciate intelligent people. And so, and this final thing in Hollywood, I want to congratulate filmmaker Barry Jenkins and the cast and crew of Moonlight, as they had 6 wins at the Spirit Awards. And I'm just appreciative that Hollywood, it doesn't have to be like Donald Trump and segregationist and homogenous and eugenic. We can have what America really is. We are a melting pot, and I'm sure if we get people who are not afraid to call a spade, and if someone is doing wrong, call them out. I do want to go back and congratulate Chris Rock too, because last year when he gave the Oscar, he was the host of the Oscars. I'm telling you, he came under a little bit of ridicule because there were guys like the great Will Smith that didn't go, and there were several other actors and actresses that did not go, and they have every right to do that, just like Tom Brady refused to go to the White House when President Obama was there, okay? And no one came under criticism when Tom Brady decided that he wanted to go look at computers instead of pay, respect to the White House with his other teammates. So I just want to say, Chris Rock did his thing last year. Some people gave him some flack that he didn't boycott, but he said something that made a lot of sense. If you want to make a change, you got to be inside. You can't be on the outside complaining. And I hope that POTUS in the White House will realize that he is also making a mistake and making everybody in this country understand that we don't have to go back to the past of the days of Jim Crow and segregation. We know he wants to privatize prisons so he can lock up blonde-haired, blue-eyed kids. They've got most everybody else. He wants to take away health care. That's going to affect people who are sick. But when Hollywood can stand up on his toes and his high heels and just say diversity works, you know, Black lives matter, white lives matter, Jewish lives matters, Native American lives matter, all lives matters. And just like you've always beautifully said, it takes sports to bring that together. I'll let you tie that down one more time. I'm going to touch on some NBA, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, when you think of an individual that pigeonholed as such as he is, I mean, that when you have justices saying that, you know, he's inaccurate and wrong, that, you know, America's the society deserves better than what he's trying to offer. And, you know, for someone who cannot tell the truth over and over, you know, I saw a segment today saying, you know, he's never talked with anybody, he's never talked with Putin from Russia. And yet there was an interview that he did in 2014.
Oh, yeah.
When he was talking about he was hosting this universe over in Russia, and, you know, he would, you know, talk with Putin directly and indirectly. He was a very gracious and intelligent man, but when he said just earlier today that he's never spoken to Putin, and yet I think the first day or two he was in office,
yeah,
he said he took a phone call from Putin. So
yeah,
to constantly lie so much about an individual and then ask the FBI to call off this, you know, investigation.
Can you believe that he's asking the FBI to lie for him, Big C? Is that crazy?
I mean, you know, it's almost like for a coach to walk out and tell an official, say, hey, forget the call you saw. You know, I got you covered next time.
Yeah.
And American society deserves more than that, Jonathan. You know, when we go to sporting events,
yeah,
you know, we want to entrust our eyes and our hopes and dreams on our team.
Yeah.
That's what fans are. You know, it's like when we see something that's wrong, you hear the noise from the crowd because that many eyes recognize the truth versus the untruth.
Yeah.
And that's how we should look at society. We need to hold accountable. You can't talk about draining the swamp when you brought all the sewage water with you.
Well, Big C, that's funny. That's definitely very true. I want to say this segment is sponsored by United Labor and One Life America Life Insurance. We're the leaders in the country when it comes to final expense. Tweet out to Big C Sports on the iHeartRadio network. We're also looking to hire over 1,000 licensed insurance brokers because we simply want to put people back to work, and we will pay your E&O insurance up to $1 million per agent. Now, who does that? I'm telling you, Big C Sports does that. Big C, as we touch on a little bit of the NBA, we know we had a lot of games going on over the weekend, but I really want to touch on something that happened on Saturday. You had Saturday's game, Charlotte Hornets 99, Sacramento 85, and that's a team that traded DeMarcus Cousins, and they had a nice win right after they got rid of him down to New Orleans, and then they dropped a game to Charlotte. Orlando 105, Atlanta 86. That was kind of a shock. The New York Knicks and that posse on Broadway 110, and then Philadelphia 109. It was Miami 113, Indiana 95. Chicago 117, Cleveland 99. What in the world is happening to Cleveland, Big C? How are they losing a game? If they're going to lose a game, why would they lose by 18 points to Chicago? Your thoughts, Big C?
Well, you know, when you look at Cleveland, John, they're really bad.
Yeah.
They're for the playoffs, okay? They're resting players.
Yeah.
This is a division that, you know, they can not play today. They're going to be in the playoffs, Jonathan. They had that wrapped up by Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being in the playoffs. Right now, it's just about positioning themselves for the playoffs. Let everybody play hard. Everybody else is playing hard, and he's trying to get there. Cleveland is there.
Yeah.
Their point of interest, Jonathan, is the NBA Finals. People can say, you know, with Cleveland, you know, they blew this easy win. Well, every game in the NBA is competitive.
Yeah.
They might win a lot, but they're all competitive. It's like the Warriors, Jonathan. They've wrapped up their playoff position earlier than any team in history, even though they had a record number of wins last year.
Yeah.
This is the earliest that a team has locked up a playoff position in NBA history. But Cleveland, they locked up a playoff position a long time ago, Jonathan. Who in the East can challenge them? You look at Toronto, DeRozan, you know, he's about to have thumb surgery. He's going to be out 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So Toronto was their closest competitor. Boston probably behind them.
Yeah.
And they're one-man trick pony. But Isaiah Thomas
Yeah.
And they're only going to go as he goes. So Cleveland has LeBron. Everybody else has what's left.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. When the general manager, the head coach, and the best player in the NBA is ready to play,
Yeah.
Cleveland can turn it on.
Well, I'm telling you.
Got a 3-for-1 right there.
Yeah, and maybe you're right on that, Big C. And a big win that happened on Sunday. You also had Milwaukee 100 to Phoenix 96, but it's San Antonio 119 to 98 over the LA Lakers. I know Magic is in charge, and there's a good buzz in Los Angeles. There's a powerful buzz in LA just because Magic is back, and I give the Lakers 2 years and they'll be back in the playoffs because he knows, I mean, they have more money than anybody outside of God, Big C, and maybe some of your good old boys down south may have more money, but I'm telling you, there's something about the mystique. But this kid called Lonzo Ball at UCLA, his dad's making a lot of talk about his kid's going to be great, and of course you have to do that. But if they get this kid to come to LA, not that they need it, but just to have that run and gun offense the way the Lakers had it back in Showtime, Big C, if Magic can bring that back to the West Coast, it is a great place to live. I think you have the Lakers maybe turning the tables against some of the teams that are beating them down. Not right now. Your thoughts, Big C?
Well, what's up, I think the Lakers need a little more than just another shooter. You know, you're talking about bringing Ball in from UCLA.
Yeah.
They need a guy who can guard the paint.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at the Lakers' history of a team being great, they've always had somebody who can guard the paint.
Yeah.
That's been the difference in that organization, Charlton versus others. You've had Wilt.
Yeah.
You've had Kareem. You've had Shaq. You've had players who can guard the paint.
Yeah.
And when they've gone with this guy shooting from the outside, as many teams in the NBA,
Yeah.
just come up short. You even look, Charlton, at the Cleveland Cavaliers last year. They had Thompson and Randolph in the middle.
Yeah. You got some of that moonshine, Big C? Did you sip on some of that moonshine too hard? Don't let the smooth taste sweeter. Didn't Billy D. Williams tell you that, Big C?
Yeah. Even when you look at the Warriors when they won a couple years ago,
Yeah.
they had some players that made a difference in the paint. And you just go back over the history. Even when Miami was winning, Charlton, you had players in the middle that could make a little difference, you know. And without these big guys, I mean, it's a fast outside shooter's game now.
Yeah.
But without having a big man in the middle, and that's what Magic is going to have to find. When you look, I think a great deal that they can make is Philadelphia's had an overburden of centers over the last 4 years. They just got rid of Noel. You know, New Orleans has two. One of them's got to go. They can't play together.
Yeah.
But you also still have two in Philadelphia. And I think the best player for the Lakers would be Okafor.
Yeah.
In Philadelphia.
Oh, he's solid.
Find a way to pull the string
Yeah.
on Okafor, a former Duke player, who just the other night had 28 and 10, Charlton.
Yeah.
This is a big man that can play. He can get up and down the field, up and down the court, rather. He's coachable. This is the type of player that the Lakers needed. If they can find an anchor for the middle, Charlton,
Yeah.
the Lakers will be back because anybody can shoot the three, but you got to have somebody to stop the penetration and get rebounds, Charlton.
Well, I want to say tonight's NBA schedule, you have New York, and they're against Toronto at home at Madison Square Garden. You have Cleveland at home versus Milwaukee. Philadelphia, and they're at home versus Golden State. Boston's at home against Atlanta. You have Houston, a 10-point favorite at home over Indiana. And Miami is on the road at Dallas. They're a 1-point favorite. Minnesota is at Sacramento tonight, and they're a 5-point favorite. And some college basketball as we're getting ready for March Madness just around the corner. North Carolina's playing Virginia tonight. Baylor's playing West Virginia. You have Coastal Carolina at Louisiana Monroe. Louisiana Lafayette, they're playing Appalachian State. Texas State, South Alabama, and then Arkansas State, Georgia State, as well as Kansas, which is always good, Big C. They're a 13-point favorite over Oklahoma. Down in your neck of the woods, you have Virginia Tech and Miami. The last thing I want to get before we close out the show, Big C, this final segment is sponsored by Business Credit. If you want to get credit, don't use your credit cards. Tweet out to Big C Sports and how to apply for business credit and get business funding to help you start your business. Again, every Monday through Friday on the iHeart Radio Network with Follow Charlton and Big C Sports. Big C, Major League Baseball is right around the corner. I know a lot of teams are out there getting ready for the spring training. We had a couple of games on Sunday at Tampa Bay over Boston, Houston, and Atlanta. Out here on the West Coast, Seattle and San Diego are playing, and Texas is Kansas City. I know we just had the Big C World Series. Any baseball talk in your mind right now, something you're looking forward to, any team that you want to pay close attention to coming up on this season, Big C?
Well, Charles, it's a long season. You always got to look at the teams that were there at the end of last season. Cleveland, Chicago, the Dodgers, the Giants. You know, those teams are always going to be in the run, Charles. Toronto, if they were there, they were in the chase. Texas. These are the teams that are always in the forefront. And consistency in baseball, having a solid manager is the key to success. You know, we can always look at these young budding superstars, but it's that manager that can keep a team in check. You know, how will Boston be this year without Big Papi, Charlton? You know, he was arguably the best player in baseball last year, the best punch hitter. You know, so there's going to be some changes. Will the Yankees be back, Charlton? You know, baseball is always better when the Yankees are pivotal in baseball. We know that the Giants missed out on the every other year thing.
Yeah.
You know, as far as winning the World Series last year, you know, Kansas City, Charlton, has been in back-to-back World Series. Will they recover? They lost one of their key players to, lost his life during the offseason. So, you know, it's going to be very interesting with baseball. It's early, it's spring training. We got 9 months to go, maybe 10 before the season gets going. But we're looking forward to spring ball, Charlie.
Well, Big C, the last thing I want to ask you, and again, I appreciate so much that you bring to the program. You know, we started out talking about the Oscars and how there's been, I guess, one of the most diverse Oscars in the history of the award, Big C. And just keep it in mind that we're at Big C Sports, we believe in diversity. We believe in calling people out, even if it's ourselves. And I know a lot of people, I think it was Mark Cuban that made a phone call to someone saying he doesn't want them making fun of Dirk Nowitzki, and something's going on with Shaquille O'Neal and JaVale McGee, I think, and their mothers are involved, and so hopefully they'll work that out. I think it's just fun, tongue-in-cheek, what Shaq does with Shaq and the Fool. But we believe in giving people equal opportunity to succeed our field, Big C, just like our own program. But I want to credit you because in this Black History Month, and we talk about all the Oscars and so many people of color not being, I guess, marginalized for a chance. And I even heard some people saying, you know, some of my white brethren saying, well, they're just doing this to make it for all the years in the past. I don't think that's true. I think Trump has shown us what a eugenic society looks like, what a homogenous society looks like. I think people want inclusion. They want diversity. They want to go out to their flower garden, Big C, and see more than one color rose. And you've done it better than anybody in the world of sports, not only with your history. I don't know how you do it. I keep looking for your producer. You don't have that when you're out on the boat. I keep looking for your teleprompter. They don't have teleprompter on boats, Big C. But you do it from the heart. And I thought you were a little bit edgy at times, but I think the whole world is following your example. So I want to commend you for talking about inclusion and diversity, not just for people's religion and whatever ethnic background they happen to be, but even in Hollywood, Big C. Congratulations on that. What do we have to do as a media to go forward, Big C? Your thoughts?
What we need as a media, conglomerate, and I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about the world of sports and media, is that there's a point in life where we have to be fair. You know, we've heard so much talk about fake media. There's no fake media.
No.
It's all opinionated media is what it is. You know, everyone has an opinion in this industry.
Yeah.
Some opinions are better than others. Some are totally inaccurate. You know, we've heard the fake news. We've heard the alternative news.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, when we see something, we have to be honest about what we see and tell the true story, Charlton. We can't sit there and say, well, the time is not right. Well, you know, maybe they're not ready to hear that. We're talking about adults. So
Oh, yeah.
We're not talking about kindergartners. And our show is meant for everybody. But our show is about truth, Charles.
Yeah.
Whether it's about sports, whether it's about politics, whether it's about life. We're about being honest with our listenership, our viewership, even though they can't see you, and sometimes I don't know if they can see me.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, the thing about it is, Charlton, the world of sports is real. The world of sports touches lives. It affects lives. You know, even in the way that politics does, Charlton, when you think about how many lives hinge on what the sports team does, Charlton.
Yeah.
What life is, you know, and I'll go back years ago. There was a great basketball player Peyton Dodovich, played for the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
Lost his life, he was a suburban
It's all right. This is a moonshine, baby. I told you don't let the smooth face fool you. Didn't Billy T tell you that?
He was from the Eastern Bloc, John. Came over and he made a great impact in NBA. And this is one of those countries that Donald Trump doesn't want to let immigrants come in from.
Yeah.
But it shows the NBA is being a world game. And when you think about so many immigrants from his native country who followed him, he was like a religion to them, Jonathan. Their lives, the kids were based on what he did on the court for the Nets.
Yeah.
The next day, that's how they fashioned how they lived, how they went to school, whether they were motivated or not. And we've seen this from so many international players, Jonathan, around the world. That's why sports is so important. It's not just an American game, Jonathan. Sports is a world game, and when we open up our doors to the world, whether it's hockey, whether it's basketball, baseball, even football, Jonathan, it's the world that America invites in, and the world is America's supposed to be setting the table for the world on how to behave, not just in politics, but in the sports. We're supposed to be the leaders, and that's what we have to continue to be, is the leaders for everybody, to show people how life should be led, how sportsmanship should be sportsmanship.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing of all. You look at Dino Ariema at UConn, Jonathan, when you think about it, 104 consecutive victories, Jonathan, and he's done that with an international team.
Yeah.
Not just American players, Jonathan, players from all over the world want to come play for this man because of what he teaches.
Yeah.
That's what America has been known for, its teachings over the years, Jonathan, whether it's been in the universities, whether it's been in the streets, whether it's been in the world of sports. But America's been the worldwide leader, and we can't let one individual tarnish what we've created as a history.
Well, Big C, I really appreciate that very much. I also want to say that just over the weekend, I was up in Nevada at the Clinic of Champions, hosted by Max Miller and Team IP, some of the top coaches in the United States for college as well as high school. So thank you for all the participants in the Clinic of Champions with put on by Max Miller. He's also in the High School Coaches Hall of Fame. So Big C Sports, not only did we touch on Hollywood, we touch on the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, hockey, we even touch the high schools. I want to say every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, worldwide, follow Big C Sports on the iHeart Radio Network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And also, we want to tell you there's never any excuse for domestic violence. If you ever see any woman in trouble, someone grabbing her by the crotch that's called a crime, just call 911 so she doesn't have to deal with that garbage on her own, as we always tell you every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. on Pacific Standard Time. We thank you. We appreciate you. And we hope that you have a super fantastic day.